For 19 years, Dmitry Bozhnikov lived in isolation at the edge of civilization with 9 Japanese women who had served in the military. Over that time, they had 73 children with him, and not once did any of them try to escape. As unbelievable as it sounds, this story appeared not only in post-Soviet media, but also on Japanese and Chinese websites detailing the strange fate of the Soviet soldier. Its truth remains uncertain, but it's a tale worth telling. On September 3rd, 1945, Japan officially surrendered, ending World War II. Soviet soldiers, who had fought on both Eastern and Western fronts, could finally rest. But not all of them returned home. Some died, some were wounded, and others, like Bozhnikov, were stranded in foreign lands. The Soviet Union captured around 600,000 Japanese troops, including women, nurses, radio operators, and others who had served at military comfort stations. These prisoners were to be sent to Siberia to help rebuild the country, planting crops, restoring towns, and working the land. But due to a lack of transport guards, prisoners were moved in small groups. In late December 1945, Bozhnikov and 4 fellow soldiers were tasked with escorting a group of 9 young Japanese women. Their identities remain unknown. The journey was long, deep into snowy wilderness, and 2 military trucks were provided along with supplies. Not long after departure, a fierce blizzard hit. The lead truck veered off course into the forest and drove into a minefield. It exploded, killing the driver and passenger. The second truck, following close behind, was also damaged and left immobile. That second truck carried Bozhnikov, 2 other soldiers, and the 9 women, who sustained only minor injuries. The other soldiers set out on foot to find help, leaving Bozhnikov behind to guard the prisoners. Days passed, but no help arrived. Had the others frozen to death, been arrested? Bozhnikov feared returning would mean a court-martial for losing the prisoners, and possibly execution. So he made a bold decision: hide in the mountains. He gathered the remaining food and supplies and led the women into the forest. They wandered for days before finding shelter deep in the mountains. The blizzard continued, and the women, unable to communicate well in Russian, understood that fleeing meant certain death. They followed Bozhnikov's lead. He ordered them, using gestures, to recover food scattered in the snow, and they left the truck behind. Eventually, they set up a makeshift camp. Bozhnikov planned to survive the winter off the truck's rations. As the only man, he naturally assumed the leadership role, something the women accepted due to traditional upbringing. At night, he chose a different woman to share his tent. By spring, they were hunting and planting vegetables. A year later, the first children were born. Initially, the women were fearful and tried to meet all of Bozhnikov's needs. They worked non-stop, cleaning, cooking, planting. Over time, the number of children grew. Bozhnikov, no longer needing to labor himself, left all the chores to the women. He had effectively created a mountain harem. They eventually built several huts, cleared forest land, and started gardens. The women learned some Russian phrases, and that's how they communicated. According to Chinese sources, this harem arrangement lasted only 3 years. Eventually, the Japanese women grew tired of catering to one man's whims. They made Dmitry work and even slapped him around when he refused to obey. Whether that part is true or not is unclear, but one fact remained. Every year, these women were pregnant, giving birth in harsh mountain conditions. To feed the growing group, Dmitry and the women who weren't pregnant would go foraging daily, gathering mushrooms, berries, and trapping animals. They dried the food to survive the winter. Strangely, in 19 years of living in the mountains, they never encountered another person. Even more mysterious, no one knows exactly which mountain range they lived in. The children grew up, and the women became more dominant. Eventually, they were the ones giving the orders. Dmitry said he could barely keep up with their demands, especially at night. Finally, one summer night, he'd had enough. He escaped. After several days of wandering through the forest, he stumbled upon a field, then a small village. There, he found a local police station and told them his story, even begging them to send him to prison just to get away from the women. Based on his description, authorities found the hidden camp deep in the mountains. There were 9 Japanese women and 73 children. The oldest was already 18. It's hard to believe. How did they survive childbirth without medical help? How did no one fall seriously ill? And why didn't anyone ever look for them? Nevertheless, in 1964, the women and their children were repatriated to Japan. The Japanese government granted citizenship to all of them. As for Dmitry, his fears came true. He was charged with desertion, disobedience, abduction, rape, and unlawful imprisonment. He was sentenced to 12 years in a Soviet labor camp. He served his time, but reportedly said he was happy, claiming life in prison was 100 times better than life in the mountains with 9 wives and dozens of kids. Believe it or not, that's up to you. Also watch other videos, like how Vietnamese guerrillas kidnapped a young soldier and used him for their own purposes for 13 years. Or why sailors starved instead of fishing in the ocean.